Y'all gonna get
We're here. We're back in brotherly love. Um, one more again, right black at you. Go on ahead, Jay. When to bring us
We're
in.
right back at you for another episode of In Brotherly Love. And look, we got a special show tonight. It's a serious show. Last week we had an opportunity to joke around and play around and have some fun. But you know, sometimes our shows get serious. And this one, I'm very excited to have. I'm very excited to have the guests here tonight because this story tonight has been compelling. It is riveting. And from the first time I heard of it, I was like, man, God is good. So we're going to hear about the wonders of God. Yes, the wonders of God tonight. And no, this is not about religion tonight, but this is about keeping faith. This is about being hopeful. And this is about another example of how prayer works in the midnight hour. So my name is Jay Wendell Gordon. I'm the warrior lawyer. You know that. You know how we give it up. I'm the warrior lawyer from the DMV. I got my brothers with me. I represent Morgan State University. I'm a dad, HBCU grad, brother to these kings right here. And y'all take it away.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? My name is Jeff Gordon, and yes, we are right black at you once again. And we're excited to be here. We're excited to be able to speak with our guests. And like Jay Wendell said, this show is going to be intense. We got a lot of good stuff for you. You need to be here. If you're not here, go grab your snacks, go grab your Kool-Aid, your soda, whatever you want to get. Come on in because you want to hear this. You want to hear what our guests have to say today. My name is Jeff Gordon. I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm an HBCU grad from the Hampton University, the standard of excellence. And these two brothers right here, these two kings right here, they my brothers, but we're gonna let them talk anyway.
What's going on, folks? It's Jason S., the voice Gordon, the baby of the bunch. I am an HBCU grad. I'm a graduate of I got this, thank you. I'm a graduate of the best HBCU known to man, home of your MVP, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, none other than the Mecca, the only HBCU on this show with a true nickname. I am a husband. I am a father. I am a brother. I am an uncle. I'm all of those things to these gentlemen and my family. And like Jeff and Jay Wendell said, we've got an excellent show for you all tonight. We've got actually, I'm even going to go as far as saying we've got a national hero because he was able to make it, to come back to the country. He's been out of the country. We're going to let him introduce himself. Go on ahead, Jay Wendell. You're the wordsmith, so go on ahead and take it away, big dog.
I'm not even going to wordsmith this one. I'm just going to say one word, and I'm going to follow it up with a few more. We all heard about what's taking place in the Ukraine. We heard about the Ukraine for an extended period of time now. However, we didn't really, not too many of us knew anybody over in the Ukraine. That was until a story hit the news not too long ago. The gentleman that you see on screen here today is named Maurice Mo Creeks. He was over in the Ukraine playing basketball for their National Basketball League. Soon, at some point during the night, not too long ago, Mom had this feeling that was wrestling with her. And it tormented her throughout the night, so much so that sometime, perhaps around 5 o'clock in the morning, or even before then, she contacted her son and said, get your stuff, get your bags together. You got to get out of here. And thank God for Mom's intuition. Thank God for the intercessors and the angels and the ancestors that watch over us. And thank God for this beautiful family that we have here tonight. And that's all I want to say. I want them to take it away. And I don't care who goes first. Perhaps Dad can go first since he's way back in the back. He seems like a man of few words, but I really want to hear from him as well.
Got that quiet strength, strength.
You know what I'm saying? I try to keep it.
So Dad, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm a native Washingtonian, grew up in Oxon Hill, Maryland, went to Oxon Hill High School, played a little football under Mike Pearson. You know, it was a pretty good team back then.
Okay. And you still live in Oxon Hill?
No, right now we currently live up in Marlboro, Maryland.
Okay, up in Marlboro. Okay, and Miss Pammy,
Yes, sir.
tell us a little bit about you, because we're gonna get into this story. I'm saving the best for last, because I don't want to interrupt this gentleman when he starts to talk. I'm just gonna ask questions.
My name is Pammy. It is with a P. Everybody thinks it's a nickname. It's not. It's my birth name. I am from Calvert County, and I have been married to this king for over 20 some years, so many that I can't even count anymore. Doesn't even matter. We together.
There you go.
We have 3, as I call them, cool cats. We got this one right here, and I got 2 more. They are amazing. No angels by any means necessary, okay?
Yeah.
But they are pretty cool cats. And I'm the queen. I'm the queen of the house. We just do what we do. We are just regular people. We love sports. We love all types of sports. But this experience here has just, whew.
Yeah.
It was quite an experience. Some days I just still think I can't even find the words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Mo, we saved you for last because we're here because of the courage that you displayed, the bravery,
Strength.
the strength, the fortitude, and I can just go on and name multiple adjectives to describe you, but I think you do it best by telling us who you are and what you were doing in the Ukraine.
Well, my name is Maurice Creek. I'm from Oxon Hill, Maryland. I'm a basketball player, tall basketball player. I'm a shy guy. I'm very passionate about people. I'm very genuine about myself. I have this aura about myself that speaks volumes to my family. For me, I just always appreciate everything that I do and everything that people do for me. I never take anything for granted, because the one time you take something for granted is the one time you may miss something in life. And so I didn't graduate from Oxon Hill. I graduated from Hargrave Military Academy, been one of the top basketball players in the state. Graduated 2009. Played at Indiana University for 4 years. Had a couple mishaps, I had 3 surgeries in 22 months. Went to transfer to George Washington, took my team to the NCAA tournament. We were 24-9. That was the 2014 year. They haven't been back in the NCAA tournament since 2007 before we took them there. So basketball has been all of my life, you know what I mean? I've been playing it since I was 4. I'm 31 now, turning 32 in August. And, just coming into the Ukraine this year, you go and you want to do it for your family and your friends and your city and your state. And I do it for myself as always, but to be a part of a war definitely takes the cake of things that you never want to get into in your life.
Man, so you're over in Ukraine playing basketball, minding your business, not involved in the politics. You didn't come over there to be a soldier. You came over there to create, to make life more enjoyable for the citizens, to entertain, nonetheless. You find out that Ukraine's relationships with Russia had been heating up for a period of time, but did you ever expect that you would be in the middle of what could be the beginning, actually, of World War III?
No, I didn't. I got there a month and 2 weeks ago, and we all didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, you hear about it all the time on the newscast and everything like that, but I think it got serious when media started blasting it a lot more than what we expected it to do. And so, you know, we had meetings about it. Me and my teammates had meetings about it. And we just decided that some people were going to leave, some people were going to stay. The two guys that left before us already had contracts to go to different teams. They already had their papers. They already had everything they needed. So they left. Better safe than sorry. The other two, one has a wife. You know he has to see his wife. The other one just decided to go to Istanbul. But me getting there so late, I didn't think it would get to that magnitude that it got to. So I stayed. When I decided that it was time to leave, I tried to get everything in play, talk to my agent all the time, every day. Hey, it's time to go. He's telling me, you know, it's gonna be hard, Mo. It's gonna be hard. This team knows the magnitude that you bring to this team. They know the impact you put on this team. They haven't won in months. You come in and win 2 games for them. They're not gonna try to let you go. They're gonna do stuff that's gonna hamper you to leave. And I've had more meetings with the coaching staff about basketball than I had about the war. And it just didn't really make sense to me because as a guy who loves basketball, I love my life first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
I love just living and making sure that my family know that I'm safe and sound. So when it comes time to say, hey, it's life over basketball, that's what I needed to be. But these people, you know, they thought about it business-wise before my life. And I just didn't expect nobody to be like that. But it happened. And I found out this year more than anything that this really is about business more so than anything when it comes to you writing your name on that contract.
So how old are you?
So just jumping in real quick. I know you said you got there about a month or so ago. Were there any like real warning signs that this was going to really take place? I know you were saying that you were having meetings with the coaches and they weren't really talking about it, but were there any other warning signs that you may have, you know, in retrospect, think that you have seen that would have kind of led you to say that, okay, this thing is really going to happen, other than, you know, mom's call saying, get your stuff and get up out of there?
See, we see it on the news channels all the time from back home. And I played in Ukraine 3 years. So media, when it hits the mass media and nothing happens, nobody expected it to happen the way that this happened, you know? So of course you hear from your mom and your dad, like, you need to get out, you need to get out. I've been hearing it. But for me, I wanted to make the best choices for me because I didn't think it would happen. But until I got it in my brain, like, you know what, this is actually going to happen. Now it's time to set off and move. But even if I would have just took off when they wanted me to take off, didn't, you know, the team, I don't think would have let me take off the way I wanted to do it. You know, I had to go through some messy steps to get to where I am now, you know? So, wow. Yeah, when your team is holding your LOC, is your letter of clearance. I had a contract to go to Qatar. What?
I think we have been calling like weeks. People think we weren't trying to get him out. We were trying to get him out.
Right.
What people don't know is I'm disabled. So he was here when he could have been gone months ago, helping me, helping Mike take care of me. Nobody knew any of that. Mm-hmm. I won't get into, you know, the details of that, but he loves basketball. So when this opportunity came up, I was like, okay, Dad's got me. Go ahead and do your thing. So when the media started talking and Biden was saying to everybody, you know, everybody that's American, they need to leave. The American embassy is going to start closing. People are going to be leaving. We were like, look, you got to get out of there by any means necessary. We got you. They, on the other hand, like he said, they started winning games and they did not want to let him go. They did not cancel that league. That league had not been canceled. And that's another reason why they didn't let him go. They said, we haven't canceled it. They didn't even postpone it or anything. So the Monday before the war started, they had agreed to let him, you know, terminate the contract. He got the rapid COVID test, which wasn't so rapid there. And that Wednesday night, my sister called me and she said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm just upstairs laying down. And she said, where's Maurice? I said, he's still in the Ukraine. He'll be out of there tomorrow. She said, you need to turn the TV on. The war has started. And I was instantly sick. So I ran downstairs, told Mike, he turned the TV on, hopped on the phone, called him. It was like 5 a.m. He was knocked out. And he's like, Mom, you know, why are you calling me so early? I don't have to go get my results until 7 a.m. And, you know, what's up? And I'm like, boy, get up, look outside. The war has started. And he's like, what? And by that time, they had taken the airport in Odessa. They had taken the airport in Kyiv. And the streets were already bombarded with the cars. So he couldn't go anywhere. And I told him, figure something out, because people who had gas, like a full tank, they eventually were going to run out because it was that many cars out in the street. And people who probably left their house with no gas or hardly any gas, of course, they were going to run out. Yeah. And then they were going to start abandoning their cars, which we started seeing people getting out, walking. It was really messy. So I did what I do. I hit the floor. I mean, I was screaming, I was crying, snotting, and everything that a mother would do. But he's such a good person. He is really a genuine person. And there is a man, Eric Norbert, that he met last summer one time. And this man fell in love with Maurice. And it is because the Most High put the spirit on this man. Well, I will say first, the Most High put the spirit on Maurice to go back to Pennsylvania to do a sideline cancer camp. That was the second time that he met, the second camp. And then Eric Norberg was there with his son. And then I say he put the spirit on that man to say, you know what, we got to get him out of there, because he didn't have to do it.
Right.
But I believe truly that the Most High put Maurice in place to meet this man. And then he put the spirit on that man to go get him, because I did and called everybody that I could, and you would be shocked. And I'm not going to say on air the things that we were told, but you would be shocked what we were told. What I will say is they want us to vote. They want us to stand in the long lines, and we are American citizens and we pay our tax dollars. So when I said, go get my son, get a SEAL team together, I mean, I begged on national TV, get a SEAL team together and go get my son. I meant every word of it.
Yeah.
And you know, just going off of what she said, when you sign a contract with a team, you're expecting them to have your safety at hand. And of course, every time that we was in the meeting, they was telling us, oh, we have a plan just in case something happens. We have a plan. We have a plan for this. We have a plan for that. They tried to move us to a different part of Ukraine, but it's still Ukraine.
Right.
You know, like, what was the purpose of moving us there when it could be just as taken away as any other spot in Ukraine.
Just
You know,
So-
so my thing is that you was holding my LLC, you was holding what I was earning. I mean, I had earned from them, you know, playing 2 games in February, practicing 2 times a day, giving up my whole body, you know, having to do the train. I mean, the rehabbing, the getting in the boots and everything else that you just do just because you're a basketball player and you love the game. You know, they took it as a joke. They took it as something that, hey, we can always sign anybody to do this, instead of caring for the people that come to your city and want to have the best for you. You know, I could have played anywhere. I could have played anywhere and everywhere. I chose Mykolaiv to play in Mykolaiv because I loved Ukraine. I had already been there for 3 years, and I knew this team needed help. And Coach Terry is one of my assistant coaches. I've known him when I played in Kyiv, and he was like, "Hey Mo, I got this opportunity for you. Let's go ahead and see if you want to lock it in. If not, I understand." I took the job knowing that this team was the worst team in the league, to see if we can make playoffs, to make publicity for this team. And so, and for them to treat not only me, but the other foreigners like this, to the point where it felt like they didn't care about us, I don't really have nothing else to say to them. You know what I mean? I'm just happy to be home, and they're not if it wasn't for my other assistant wife and sister having to leave the country, knowing that the war was happening, I would have not had a car to get across that bridge. And
Did they blow
Eric
up the
Nordberg
bridge?
had 4.
Did they blow up the bridge?
Right after I left. Right
Mhm.
after I left. So that bridge, because they don't want Russians to get in.
Right.
They don't want Russians to get in. And I'm right by the Black Sea. So if you're watching the news right now, they're taking over Mykolaiv right now because I'm right by the Black Sea.
Mykolaiv is done. Like
Right.
literally after he left, they started bombing. Shellings were worse. I mean, I was on FaceTime with him. I could hear, I'm like, Maurice, what is that? He's like, Mom, it's shellings. Mom, it's missiles, it's bombs. To hear that, I mean, this is a real live war, and people don't understand that. This is something you see on TV. You would never thought in a million years. Mike and I are sitting there looking at each other like, our son is in the middle of a war, a for real war. This is not a joke.
And even when I got in that car and, you know, it took off to the Moldavian border, you can
So were you being driven somewhere, or were you driving?
So no, I was being driven. They had a personal driver by the grace of God. You know, they had a personal driver and they had room for me to get in the car and get on the way to the Moldavian border. But you could just see all the stuff that was happening throughout the city of Odessa. And I had to drive through that hot zone to get to the Moldavian border. It was a risk because they could have been attacking at that time that I was in the car. By the grace of God, they didn't. And
did you recognize the risk at the time you were traveling, or you were just like, Lord, just get me from point A to point B?
Oh, yes.
Like, were rockets going over your head and things like that?
I seen that first. You had to go through checkpoints. You see the warriors, the soldiers with guns that I've never seen before, and you see how they like barricade. You have to go through like a maze. There's bricks throughout the street, so you have to ride through the bricks to get to another spot. You see the tanks. You see where the bombs actually hit in the street, because the gravel on the road is broken down now. You see the clothes in the middle of the street. You see the shoes in the middle of the street. You see all the cars that's trying to get to the same Moldavian border that you are trying to get to. We was in traffic for a little bit, and I was just scared because I'm sitting there thinking, as I'm in traffic, please don't nobody shoot up my car, you know? So we get to the Moldavian border, the driver pulls off and let me get my bags out. But you could just see everybody who's trying to drive through the border. You could see the 30-mile radius that they have to wait into because everybody's trying to get out. And when I got out, I was all the way in the back of the line. It was thousands of people that was trying to get out, standing right there, but it's thousands of people in cars trying to do the same thing. So the Moldavian took longer than I was expecting it to take, but I'm just happy to be home now and be with my family because I know it was a hard road for them. It was a hard road for me, and I know it was a hard road for them and my two brothers.
So Mo, how old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, so you're 31 years old, and you had just gone over there. I guess you'd only been over there for 2 months as a recap, correct?
A month and 2 weeks.
Okay. How long were you supposed to stay over there for the season? Were you going back home, or how was that going?
I was supposed to stay over there until the end of April. So I still had months of basketball to play left, which hurts me because I love the game. So to not be able to finish out the season that I had prepared for and knew like what I was getting into, it kind of hurts.
And you said you fell in love with the Ukraine. What was it about the Ukraine that seduced you?
Just the people. You know, a lot of the times people don't want to understand people, and especially from different countries. They always understood me. They gave me no problems at all. They look serious, but we look serious. And, you know, when you get to know these people, you can understand that their personalities are the same as ours. They have a beautiful country. I've been in 3 different parts. I actually been in almost every part of Ukraine, just playing on away games and stuff like that. But for where I've been living at, it's beautiful, you know, and it's just sad that, it's just being taken over right now for power and gain.
So now we're hearing, I mean, and it's interesting that you say that because over here, we just get what we get from the media, and we're hearing a lot about, there's a lot of racism over there, and that they're treating our African-American brothers and sisters horribly during this. I said African-American and
Africans. It's primarily
Africans, okay. Black people over there being treated not well. And so can you just shed a little light on that? Is that the case? I mean, you actually experienced it. So for us, we're ready, we're like, hey, you can't do this to our brothers and sisters, but you're saying that they're just regular people, unlike what we may be seeing in the news. Is that correct or no?
See, I've never had no problems with the Ukrainian people. They've always shared their love with me and their light with me. Now, I don't know what was going on with, the Africans. I've heard the stories of them trying to get on trains and stuff, and they have been kicked off the trains and everything. But to my understanding, I felt as if we all knew that they were trying to get the kids and the mothers out of Ukraine. I don't know if that was the case or anything, but I know for me, they've always shown me love, and that's all I can say.
Now, are you a celebrity in the Ukraine as you are here in the United States?
You worldwide now. You world renowned.
That's Maurice, okay? He's not no celebrity.
I never, but see, even here, I never want to call myself a celebrity because I always want to be the same as everybody else. I always want to, it didn't matter if I played basketball, it didn't matter if I spoke for a living, did comedian, it don't matter. I want to be Maurice Creek, just like everybody else, just like she's Pammy Morgan, just like he's Mike Morgan. I want to be Maurice Creek. Now, of course, that's not going to happen. Everybody's going to, you got that stature that you have to uplift and uphold. But for me, I'm always a humble guy. And that's something that these two have installed in me. And that's why I carry myself this way.
I'll tell you what, you don't know me, perhaps. I had just written a post on Facebook about the treatment that we received report of from the Washington Post and some other mainstream media, as well as lamestream media and social media. And I was very disquieted, in fact, undone by the treatment that was displayed, not only in the writing, not only in the print media, but they actually had videos of people being badly treated, people being beaten. And I was like, wow, they want us to pray for the Ukraine. This is me, African-American in the United States. I've never been, and you've given us a great geography lesson because I forgot all about the Black Sea, and I'm still trying to figure out where Kiev is, but I've never been. But what I saw was suffering, but I didn't see any outrage. I didn't see the African community here in the United States protesting Ukraine embassy or the Hungary embassy or the Poland embassy. I didn't see, I just saw, well, I didn't hear anything. And it just frustrated me to no end that here we are, they're telling us to pray for Ukraine. I'm saying I'm praying for the Africans, because apparently the United States is pouring in money. They're talking about giving them our jets and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why are you giving them our military equipment? And then where are these Ukrainians going? Are they going to come here to the United States? And are they really hate-filled? Like, we don't want no any more European races or imported races into our country. Your story is unique to me because it was a Ukrainian who assisted you, or was he an American? I think it was a Green Beret or something, or an American Green Beret who was white, no doubt.
Yes.
Who actually is responsible for saving your life and maintaining this treasure we call Mo Creek in our community. And so I have to consider that as well. So there are good people everywhere, but I was undone by the racism and the prospect of these European racists coming to the United States with that belief that their skin gave them a privilege over African Americans. And you know, if they come here with that, it's not going to be put out, it's going to be fueled by the racists that we already have.
Already deal with here, yeah.
So, and I guess that's a long way to say that I'm happy to hear that Ukraine is not all of what I perceived it to be. But I do believe that there is a global problem with racism. And I'm also happy to hear that you haven't been the victim or the subject of the most heinous forms of it. So that does me well. Now, you get this phone call 5 o'clock in the morning, you in there wiping crust out your eyes, and
hey, look, hey Mo, you thought your mom's was bothering you.
And I know it's cold in here.
It's bothering me. You know,
I know you like, Moms, why you calling me right now?
The thing about it,
what was going through your mind? I know you had to grab your bags, but as a Black man in the Ukraine,
call for your mom. I already know what he was thinking. He's like, why is my mother calling me?
Did you think that you would be rescued from this situation, or how did you or
had you even realized it was an issue yet?
Like how did you tell yourself, you know what, this thing's going to be what it's going to be. If I die, let me die. I mean, where were you mentally with all this going on?
Well, I had already had most of my stuff packed and was ready to go, just because I had signed my contract in Qatar. And when some of the plans fell through and I found out the war was happening on the day that I was supposed to leave for Qatar, I lost a little hope, you know. And, I can't even imagine what they had to go through, because they, you know, when they hear war and I'm over there, I'm their firstborn, you know, I'm their first son. So for me, I'm not going to sit here and say everything was peaches and cream, because it wasn't. I've had multiple times where I dragged my bags downstairs just for somebody to say, or for a siren to go off, Now everybody got to go back to what they're doing, and I got to go back upstairs to my apartment and take my bags upstairs for my assistant coach to come pick me up to take me to the bomb shelter because the sirens is going off. I had to really feel what a bomb shelter really is. You know, I never knew what a bomb shelter actually was until I went down in there and it looked like a straight dungeon. Didn't even know if it was bathrooms in there. Just a little bit of light. You got some rooms with lights, some rooms no lights. You got to make a family out of people you don't know just to feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I felt when it's nighttime and I'm in my apartment and we're up under martial law and all the lights in the whole city is out. The only time you see a light on is when you're in a car and somebody might drive by that's not even supposed to be on the street. And I felt that more than anything because I couldn't see nothing. So if somebody wanted to shoot at my crib, they could have shot at my house. If somebody wanted to shoot a missile at my house, they could have shot at my house. I felt when the jets were flying through and I was, you know, my guys, we played Call of Duty. So we know how that actually works. But when I make a joke about it now, but I felt when the jets was coming through and riding over top of my crib, and I'm praying to God that a bomb don't drop on my house. You know, so I went through a lot, and I didn't leave until 3 days after the fact. That scared me. That I had within them 3 days, I literally told myself, I may not make it home. I may not make it home.
Just one more question.
I know for her, I know one of the toughest things that I did, and I knew it was the first day I had to go through the bomb shelter. And when you're in a bomb shelter, you don't have no reception. So before I left and went down in the bomb shelter, I told my mother, I love you. Tell my family I love them because I don't know if I'm gonna make it out.
That's what you told your mother that? Wow.
So one quick question. Did you at any point in time in your mind think that you were gonna possibly pick up a weapon and fight?
They told me don't pick up no weapons. They told me, Ed Norberg told me don't pick up a weapon because you're a black man.
Got you.
They don't know if you for the Russians or Ukraine. So now you in the middle because you're an American. You pick up a weapon, they're gonna shoot you, and that goes for everybody. I mean, of course, anybody see a weapon for anybody. Well, if they're in the Ukraine side, you would know, and if they're on the Russian side, you would know they got certain type of things that you can see. But if I pick up a weapon, they don't know who I'm rocking with. So I would say they told me don't do it. Just get into your apartment, stay safe and sound. When it hits nighttime, make sure you got food cooked. If when you finish cooking your food, turn them lights off because they see light, they might just shoot it up just off the string. They don't know who's in it. You know.
Okay, so now that you're back, we made it through. You've had a chance to get a little bit of rest. Where do you see where do we go from here? Where is Maurice going from here?
Well, I always want to play basketball, so I'm getting into training now. I've taken my days, and my family's happy now. Spend time with them, but definitely want to get back into basketball aspects. I want to write a book about this, and I want a movie done about it because I feel like there's a lot more to the story that I can't tell and I won't tell until everybody can see, and you'll feel it through a movie, you'll feel it through a book, because now I can really personally tell you everything that happened.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
Now,
And so, I mean, I know as far as Family Guy, I'm sure they've been, parades and ticker tape and all of that, and they hoisting you on the shoulders and everything, and we celebrate you all throughout the world. And I mean, whether you like it or not, you are on the world stage at this point. We all know who you are. We all have some idea, of what you've been through. So, just kind of taking all that in, how do you feel about all that? Like all of that, you seem like a humble guy. So if you're anything like I think you are, you like, all this attention is great. I'm here with my fam, but how do you feel about all of that?
It was amazing. It just shows me how many people cared about me throughout the time. People that I did know, the people that I don't know, they've shown me nothing but love. And without everybody, I don't think I'd be standing here today. And that's just a real live statement. I've had my fair share of times where I've given up, but would see somebody praying for me. My mom and my dad would call me and they would keep me comfort. And that's what you need in life. That's how the world goes around. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Evil can tear somebody down, but love can bring somebody up. And I've learned that just through this segment of time. It was so many people that gave me prayers. It was so many people that was trying to help me. My former teammates was on the ball trying to help me out. Like, my
those
coaches,
relationships that last, man.
The coaches was trying to help me get out. That I work with in the summertime and rock with it sometimes. So everybody did a part of me getting back here. It wasn't just me, by all means.
yeah.
So what would you say to these young men who are out here? Oh, this area is the mecca for basketball players. These young men who are out here who will see this story and they're going to look up to you and they're going to be like, now they have somebody who is arm's distance away from it. It's not somebody who's on a TV screen all the way across the country. What would you have to say to these young men who are aspiring to just get a taste of being able to play at that level to which you're playing?
Just work to the fullest. I think my dad, he worked me out all day, every day. This man would have me on the hill when I was a kid, shooting 6 hours a day. Work comes with progress, and when you build that progress, you'll see it'll come to light. But if you're not working, they always say hard work beats talent, but if talent don't work hard,
Yeah.
And I learned that from Kevin Durant, and I think one of the greatest players to even come from his area. And for me, if anybody needs to talk to me,
Somebody might say Len Bias, but I like Kevin Durant too.
Hey, look, and Pops, I know you in the back, so I'm gonna let Mo say it again for the kids in the back and my son in the back, because I'm always on him every day, man. Come on, we gotta go to the gym, we gotta do this, and he's dragging his feet. Hey, Pops, how you get him out to the gym, man? I need some lessons, man, because it's hard work. This is hard work. These young boys don't want to put in that work. Pops, how do you do it?
Because I was going to the gym, so he wanted to tag along. Sometimes I would leave and I'll come back. My wife would tell me he was crying. So I just started tagging him and tag along.
So what's inside?
Since you're going, you might as well start doing that.
And then that was another avenue for them, because I was a single parent when I met Mike, and that was the avenue for them to bond.
Okay.
But to piggyback off of that question, there is more to basketball or any sport
Say that.
than whatever the sport is, because if you get injured, it's next. Who's next?
Right.
Yeah.
Every sport is a business, and parents and the child, female or male, they need to understand and realize that. And people who we thought would have called to reach out to us when he was not safe, we didn't hear from him. But when word got out that he was safe, then we started hearing from people. Kind of
Wow.
makes you sick to your stomach.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like you know it in the back of your head,
Right.
but now they're really showing it. So there's a lot to sports than playing. There's a lot to sports than money. It's politics involved too.
So
That seemed to be the one thing, one of the things, but one of the main things that Mo wanted to communicate. You know, he was 30 years old, not necessarily a young man, probably getting high, getting a little up there to play basketball, and it's got to be looking at what comes next. But even at his 30-year-old age, he was very disappointed by how he was being treated. He was being treated as chattel as opposed to a human being. When I say chattel, for those who don't know, it's a fancy legal word for property, being treated as chattel. And, you know, the sole motivation wasn't necessarily, you know, all the accolades that he receives when he scores the winning point or when he brings his team to victory. It was, what can we do for this bottom line? We can't let him go. Forget about his life. I want him to play. And basketball comes first, life comes second. And it took a lot of strength. And I do admire you for that, because knowing everything that's at stake. That's like somebody telling me, Jay, you know what, you're a lawyer, but you know, there's some things going over here and your life may be in danger, but we got you. Just keep on going to court, keep winning cases, and we're gonna take good care of you. And come to find out that nobody's taking care of me. The war is at my front door, and nobody said anything to me except how they can get me to the next courthouse to try another case. And for me, that speaks volumes. And for him to even know at 30 years old that, you know what, this thing is too serious. I don't care what the legal ramifications are. I'm going to be in the United States of America anyway. Catch me if you can. But I'm going to have to leave it all behind. But there's another important part, because you didn't even get paid the money that you earned. Not that was supposed to come at some future time, but that you earned over there. And so there's a lot to be settled, and I'm hopeful and prayerful that you will be able to resolve those issues for yourself.
So do we see you coaching? We gonna see you on one of the NBA teams? Are they talking with this information? Or
Still a lot more to go. I'm willing to go anywhere with it. I'm good with kids.
Maybe not anywhere. I mean, ultimately,
back there.
I mean, he still has a lot more basketball left in him to play, but ultimately it will be, you know, we'll talk about it, the three of us, and it will ultimately be his decision.
It sounds like you've been very voluntold. It sounds like you've been voluntold, bro. You're gonna be voluntold, bro.
Look,
I'm just happy that you're here, that you're safe, that you're sound, that you're in, you know, polite company, loving company, and that we look forward to seeing what comes next. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Absolutely.
We really do, because what you've been through, you know, the bombs, the aerial assault, the destruction of property. I've seen buildings turn to rubble, and it looked like it was cold out there. And by the way, how did you deal with the elements? I mean, it looked like.
As a matter of fact, what you doing over there in the cold, man? We don't go to the cold. What's that about? I mean, I know it looks nice and everything, but there ain't no warm weather and blue water.
Like, was the bomb shelter cold? Tell us, take us into Ukraine and tell us what your senses experienced, what you saw, smelled, touched, felt.
Well, I'm always looking for, I'm a foodie, so I'm looking for Americanized food first. I'm not gonna say I didn't try no Ukrainian dishes, but that's just me. When I first got to Ukraine, the first thing that I did was go get some food, and they had one of the best cakes that I've ever had. I'm a sweet tooth too. They have one of the best cakes there. It's called a Kyiv cake. And I was in Kyiv, and Kyiv is the capital of Ukraine. And you know, that's one of the things. But I don't think it's no different within smells or feel or anything like that. You just have to explore and learn your way in the ways of Ukraine and everything like that. Like Kyiv reminds me of New York. It's busy like New York. Just all the roundabouts that they have. You cannot turn on some of the streets and stuff like that. So it's certain things about Ukraine that reminds me of home. That's why I've always called it my second home.
Okay. So tell me what you saw, smelled, and felt when those bombs started landing around.
Oh, smelled like smoke. I mean, it smelled like
What did you
look,
hear? Like, what did it sound like? Was it like what was it?
them bombs sounded like something you would hear on a video game. And I didn't hear the first initial, but you can hear the boom of it. And when I was talking to her one night, I looked down at the bottom floor because I lived on the third floor, and I thought somebody had dropped something big on their floor. That's how big that bomb was, and that's how much I heard it. I was like, "Wait, what is that?" And I was like, "Well, I think that was a bomb." And then the siren come on, and now that's how I knew it was a real actual bomb. And now I know when the siren come on, I'm getting a call. I'm gonna call you right back. Here go Coach Terry. He about to come pick me up and go right to the bomb shelter. And you know, she felt that.
And how long did it take them to come pick you up? Like that's the plan. They're supposed to drive through the streets of the Ukraine, come to your apartment unit or your townhouse or house, whatever it was, and take you to an underground dungeon. How many feet down was it? How did that work?
Man, so Coach Terry, by the grace of God, lived 3 minutes away by car. And so once that happened, he's jetting to my house. It took him a minute and a half, 2 minutes to get to my house. I'm already downstairs. We get in the car, we go back, and the apartment building, how it's set up is the bunker is right up under all the apartment buildings. So it's not like I have to go under 30 feet or anything like that. It's maybe 6 feet. So, and this is all concrete walls, dust, nothing really down there. They just use it to store people just in case something happens like this.
Man, okay.
So is there one way in, one way out, or how does secret chambers?
One way in, one way out. It wasn't no other way in, no other way out.
So, now, the day after you left, something happened to your residence, did it not?
I don't know if it happened to my apartment building, but my city, yes. They started bombing the city. They started shooting up the city. It was really a war out there.
If you look tonight, it's unbelievable. And when he left, then it was like they just started shooting people because at first they weren't doing that. Ooh,
and I heard they were shooting civilians.
Yeah,
yep, right.
Yeah.
I heard that when I was in Romania, when I got to the Romanian border, that's when I had heard that 5,000 civilians were killed. It was one bus that was a rescue bus for children and civilians, like children, men and women, to get them out of Ukraine. And that bus was shot up. So it had just gotten really bad over there. And like I always say, by the grace of God, I thank God that I'm back on the United States soil, because I could have been one of them. You know, they would not have found my body to bury me. You know what I mean? So how would I couldn't be properly buried because of somebody's power and gain in war, you know, and it's hurtful. I literally text, I have a group chat on an app, we use the Viber. So that's how I contacted some of my teammates. And, you know, some teammates don't contact back. So all I can think is that either they made it and they just so scared that they can't text, or they don't have no service over there or anything like that, or they're gone. But I'm praying for them every single day, because those are guys that I went to war with. Those are the guys that I practiced with, and I built a brotherly bond. It don't matter how long I was there. And really, the whole league, I've known 80% of the league that I played against. Because even when I had left there and played in other cities and stuff, I played in Ukraine for 3 years, and the same people have been in the same league, because they're not going nowhere. They just accustomed to Ukraine. And I pray for everybody that was in that league, American and Ukrainians, because everybody was a bond, and we never had no problems within each other.
Did you leave any very good friends over there, like where you just had to part company and be like, I gotta go home? Maybe the other person said, this is home, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I left a couple of good people over there. And again, I don't know, because I just pray that everything is good with them, because again, I can't figure it out. I can't find out. I can only figure out stuff that I can, who I can contact, and I can't really contact people because of what's going on. Maybe they could be fighting right now, because you can't leave the country if you're 18 through 65. And
you can't leave the Ukraine?
Ukrainian, if you're Ukrainian, you cannot leave the country. As a male, you cannot leave the country 18 through 65. You have to fight. You have to fight for your country.
That's their version of a draft.
Yeah, that's their version.
And we're hearing that on TV, and Maurice taking us down in the bunker. And I'm sitting here looking at my wife. She don't see me looking, and I'm thinking, I don't know how we're gonna get his body back, because it don't look good.
The Most High.
Those are some hard. Those are some hard questions.
I thought I heard that they had brought over like 2 million people across the Ukraine borders, but you're saying those must have been women and children.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they were bringing over like 100,000 people per day.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And it was crazy. What I learned was, because my assistant coach is American, but because he has stayed in Ukraine so long, he can't leave either, because he has the dual citizenship, and with the Ukraine.
Nobody will take it.
Yeah. So even the people that are trying to get on national teams, that's a thing with overseas basketball. When you play in a certain area for so long, you can get on national teams and stuff like that. So by the grace of God, I don't think none of the Americans have dual citizenships to the point where they can't leave, or they got out, either that or they got out just in time to the point where they can go back to the United States. But I don't think my coach left, because he has to stay there and fight.
Wow. Well, thank you. This has been a very riveting interview, as I thought it was. I wish you nothing but the best, peace and love. You are a beacon of hope for anyone who ever thought that God isn't real. You are personification of a very real God. Here you are in the Ukraine, African American, no doubt. And you couldn't even defend yourself if you wanted to, because that was virtual suicide. Right. And so you had to depend on the goodness of others and your own faith to ensure your return back to American soil. And quite frankly, I don't even want to think about what your thoughts were when you were going through it. I'm happy that you're here. You should be exalted to the highest order, so people can really understand what you talk about. Hard work and dedication. Become a ball player. Look at the hard work and dedication that you put into your life. This man's life mattered not only to his family, but it mattered to him, and that's what's most important. Because a lot of people would have crumbled by depression, would have crumbled by a feeling of helplessness, and would have just accepted defeat. But something within you gave you the drive that, like, you know, I'm not just fighting for myself to return home. I'm fighting for my family, you know, fighting for a greater purpose. And I'm happy, so happy that you're here. My name is J. Wendell Gordon. I'm the Warrior Lawyer, and we're going to be right back at you next week with another interesting show. Hardly any as powerful as this one. And I'm just eternally grateful for you all. Jeff?
So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. I know that Jason is working, doing his thing, being the man and being the provider that he is. This is Jeff Gordon. We really appreciate you guys coming on to the show. You're out here, you representing gorgeous Prince George's, you representing the United States of America, you representing everything Black that we love. We really thank you, moms, for the 5 o'clock call. Thank you, Pops, for taking them to the gym. I tell you, I understand it all. And I like I said, I know when you got that call, you was like, Mom, come on, Mom.
If you want to get your son out, bring him over here.
Hey,
you know how to reach us. Bring him over here. He'll get him.
Say less.
So you can clean them up.
He'd be like, Dad, what you doing? I'm like, yo, just go and do that. It works. He did it. It works. So whatever he did, it works. No, we really do thank you. People, you're like one of us. You're a hometown boy. So will you do other speaking engagements? Will you come on other shows? I mean, what do you have? Are you working through all of that? I know you probably got a management team and a PR team, and everybody's out there. So
we do have a good team. We have 2 phenomenal women that are working with us, Micheline Bowman. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's out there showing us around town all the good foods and good eats.
And Councilwoman Joycelyn Rout.
Okay.
So they're working with us. So for speaking engagements and any scheduling of anything, because our phone was literally ringing off the hook.
I'm sure. That's why I'm so honored to have this interview. Yeah,
absolutely. But go ahead, you can finish saying what you were saying.
No, just get in touch with them, and they set everything up for us.
Okay, great. So I know it's getting to be 8 o'clock. Before we give you your parting words, this is Jeff Gordon. We'll be right back at you next week. Hey, y'all need to watch this. You need to learn. Young men out here, y'all need to watch this man. Get in there, get some of that knowledge, understand what it took to get to where he got. He's been there. He's done it. You always want somebody who's done it so they can tell you about it. So you know what you need to do to follow. Not necessarily follow over to Ukraine, but follow in those footsteps to do your love. Okay.
And that's all good. But this really is a story of survival. This is a story of faith. And so I don't want that to be lost in the basketball. We understand that basketball.
Not at all.
Yeah. So and so Mo, if you have any parting words, Miss Pammy, Miss Mike, kindly bestow them upon us.
Well, first of all, thank y'all for having us on the show. I know this means a lot, and I'm just, like I said, I'm always grateful for everything that I do. What I want to tell everybody is that nothing's impossible. Keep the faith. You know what I'm saying? If you gotta get down on the knees, get down on the knees and pray. He's real. He's real. I would not be here without him, just like I would not be here without any of y'all. So thank y'all, but I'm also thanking the Most High for me being here.
Pops.
Super Mike.
That's all I can say. For bringing my boy home.
Yeah.
Same thing here. I tell people to continue to pray, because even though he's home and he's safe, this has traumatized us, especially I think myself more than them. I'm going through some things. So, and it's okay to say, it's okay if you're going through some things to say, if you need to speak to someone. So continue to pray for us. And again, I just give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High. His grace and his mercy is sufficient, and his refuge is sufficient.
Yeah.
He would not be here right now without the Most High. This, again, movie, book, it's something he used Maurice of all people.
Yeah.
We say that too, to make things come full circle. But he is the all-powerful and the almighty, and everything that he has in his master plan, it doesn't matter what we plan, it doesn't matter what we think or what we want to do, his plan is what is going to happen. So everybody just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you very much. This is another riveting episode of In Brotherly Love.
I'm gonna need a drink after this. Shoot.
Yeah, right. I know.
Talk to somebody. I'm gonna have to talk to somebody and have a drink, Jeff. I might have to call you.
Man, give me a call. I got you, bro.
Good God, man.
We'll be right
stay,
back
stay
at you.
strong. And I love the unity of this family. I love your family. I love what you represent. I love who you are, and continue to do everything that you do for a family, for the community, quite frankly, for the world. And be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.